Class 7, Chapter 5. Before you read, can a smoker be called an artist? Yes, if he has the same skill and pride in his trade as any other artist and the same respect for it too. Mr. Glaser, a German smoker, settled in London in a perfect artist. Read the story to show how he devotes his life to his art. So this lesson's name is quality. I knew him from the days of my extreme youth because he made my father's boast. He lived with his elder brother in his shop, which was in a small by street in a fashionable part of London. The shop had a curtain quite distinction. There was no sign upon it other than the name of Glacier Brothers, and in the window a few pairs of boots. He made only what was ordered, what what he made never failed to fit. To make boots, such boots as he made, seemed he me to me then and still seems to me mysterious and wonderful. I remember well my shy remarks one day while stretching out to my hem my youthful foot. Is not it awfully hard to do, Mr. Glacier? And his answer, given with a sudden smile from out of the redness of his beard, it is an it was not possible to go to him very often. His boots lasted terribly, having something beyond a temporary some essence of boost stitches into them. One went in not as into most shops, but restfully as one enters a crutch and sitting on the single wounded wooden chair waited a guttural sound and the tip tap of the sleeper beating the narrow wooden stairs, and he would stand before one without coat, a little bent in leather apron with sleeves turned back, blinking as if awaked from some dream of boast. And I would say, how do you do, Mr. Glacier? Could you make me a pair of Russian leather boots? Without a word, he would leave me retiring which, whence they came, whence he came, or into the other portion of the shop, and I would continue to rest in the wooden chair, inhaling the incense of his trade. Soon he would come back, holding in his hand a piece of gold brown leather. With eyes fixed on it, we would remark, "What a beautiful beast! What a beautiful beast!" When I too had admired it, he would speak again. "When do you want them?" And I would answer, "Oh, as soon as you conveniently can." And he would say, "Tomorrow for the head," or if he were his elder brother, "I will ask my brother." Then I would murmur, "Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Glacier." "Good morning," he would reply, still looking at the letter in his stand in his hand, and as I moved to the door, I would hear the tip tap of his slipper going up the stairs to his dream of boost. Incense. The smell of leather is compared to the smell of incense in a crutch. What a beautiful piece. When do you want them? Fortnight and brother. Okay. I cannot forget that day on which I had occasion to say to him, Mr. Glacier, that last pair of boots creaked, you know. He looked at me for a time without replying, as if expecting me to withdraw off or qualify the statement, then said, Il should they overcorrect. It did. I'm afraid you got them wet before they found themselves. I do not think so. At that, he lowered his eyes as if hunting for memory of those boats, and I felt sorry I had mentored his grave things. Send them back, he said. I will look at them. Zoom, boot. He continued slowly. A bat from bird. If I can do nodding with them, I take them off your bill. Once, once only. I went absent mindedly into his shop in a pair of boots bought in an emergency at some large firm. He took my order without showing me any leather, and I could feel his eyes penetrating the inferior covering of my foot. At last he said, Thus are not my boot. The tone was not one of anger nor of sorrow, not even to contempt, but there was in it something quite that froze the blood. He put his hand down and pressed a finger on the place where the left boot was not quite comfortable. Ill urts, you dare, he said. Those big worms have no self respect, and then, as if something had given way within him, he spoke long and bitterly. It was the only time I ever heard him discuss the conditions and hardships of his trade. They get it all. He said they get it by adverse advertisement, not by work. They take it away from us who love our boots. It goes to Desperately, I have no work. Every year it gets less, you will see. And looking at his lined face, I saw things I had never noticed before. Bitter thing and bitter struggle, and what a lot of grey hairs there seemed suddenly in his red beard. At best, I explained that circumstances of those ill omened boots. But his face and voice made so deep an impression that during the next few minutes I ordered many pairs. They lasted longer than ever, and I was not able to go to him for nearly 2 years. It was many months before my next visit to his shop. This time it appeared to be his elder brother handling a piece of leather. Well, Mr. Glacier, I said, how are you? He came close and purred at me. I'm really well, he said slowly, but my elder brother is dead. And I saw that it was needed himself. But how and when? And never before had I heard himself mention his brother. Much shocked, I murmured, "Oh, I'm sorry." Yes, he answered. He was a good man. He made a good boat. Yes, he answered. He was a good man. He made a good boat, but he is dead. And he touched the top of his head where the hair had suddenly gone and thin as it had been on that of his poor brother to incident, I suppose, the cause of his death. Do you want any wood? And he held of the leather in his hand. It is a beautiful beast. So, do you want any boats? It's a beautiful beast. I'm pretty well, but my elder brother did. See ya. They get it all. They get it by advancement, not by work. They take it away from us who love our birds. Boots. Yes, boots. It come to this. Presently, I have no work. Every year, it gets less. I ordered several pairs. It was very long before they came, but they were better than ever. One simply could not wear them out, and soon after that I went observed. It was over a year before I was again in London, and the first shop I went to was my old friend's. I had left a man of 60. I came back to one of 75, pinched and worn, who genuinely this time did not at first know me. "Do you want any boots?" he said. "I can make them quickly. It is a black dime." I answered, "Please, please, I want boots all around every kind." I had given those boots a when and evening they came. One by one I tried them on in shape and fit in finish and quietly quality of leather. They were the best he had ever made. I flew downstairs, wrote a spick, and posted it at once with my own hand. A week later, praising the little street, I thought I would go in and tell him how splendidly the new boots fitted. But when I came to where his shop had been, his name was gone. I went in very much disturbed. In the shop where was a young man with an English face. "Mr. Glacier in?" I said. "No, sir." He had no, but we can attend to anything with pleasure. "We have taken the shop over." "Yes, yes," I said. "But Mr. Glacier?" "Oh," he answered, "dead." "Dead? But I only received these boots from him last Wednesday week." "Ah," he said, "poor old man, starved himself slow starvation. The doctor called it. You see, he went to work in such a way, would keep the shop on, would not have a soul touch his boots except himself. When he got an order, it took him such a time. People won't wait. He lost everybody, and he would sit going on and on. I will say that for him, not a man in London made a bitter boot. But look at the competition. He never advertised, would have the best leather too, and do it all himself. Well, there it is. What could you expect with his ideas? But a starvation that may be a bit flowery as the saying is, but I know myself he was sitting over his boards day and night to the very last. You see, I used to watch him, never gave himself time to eat, never had a penny in the house, all went in rent and leather. How he lived so long, I do not know. He regularly let his fire go out. He was a character, but he made good boots. Yes, I said he made good boots. So, friends, this lesson is written by John Glashworthy, simplified and abbreviated. So, thank you for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe our channel, your favorite channel, Dhira Malik. Bye bye.